converted man here. I was watching Compelled Unbeliever, as I sometimes do, because I like him and his content and his background, and I just like him. He's cool. He's part of my posse, I guess. Not really. I mean, we haven't done a thing yet, or maybe we did, and I don't remember anymore. Anyways, so the point is, I was watching a video of his, and then on his video, like in the comments, Matt Powell official commented, and I like to mess with Matt Powell because I've challenged him to a debate, every now and then, like I do with many people, and I don't know if he actually saw that or cares or whatever, But I'm like, hey, I want Matt Powell's attention. I could use some attention from him. So why not make a video about him in relation to the thing that he said in hopes that he'll see this and then he'll pick on me and make a video about me or debate me or something. I don't know. So this is that. This is this video. So that's what I'm doing. So, okay. Okay. Let's see. So here's a Compelled Unbeliever. This is a kind of a derpy look. Not a great place to to have stopped the video, but I could have picked more derpy lurks than this. Lurks? Yeah, that's okay. Compelled Unbeliever has plenty of derp looks that I've done to choose from if he wants to poke fun at me. Anyways, so he said stuff, whatever, okay, so his video was about if Christianity was true, would you worship God, responding to Frank Turek. And so I'll talk about that in a little bit after I respond to this comment, because that's what this is. So Matt Powell official says, frankly, oh wait, it's pretty small. Let me get that bigger here for you. All right, let's see. Holy shit, that was a bit. Yeah. Oh my word. Okay, oh dear. Well, that didn't pan out well, did it? Come on, just make the words bigger. I mean, why is this so difficult? Okay, here we go. Okay, frankly, I don't have interest in converting you because it's clear that you'll never listen. But videos like this are golden. I've already downloaded it. I might just do the same thing to you that I did to the Raging Atheist for stiffening his neck and making a mockery of the Bible. Maybe. ... Just maybe. Ooh, them's fighting words there. Oh no. Oh, what are we gonna do? Well, I mean, it's not that hard to make a mockery of the Bible. It's pretty stupid, all things considered. How many translations has it gone through? How many redoings of it? You've got the worst translation out there that people swear by. King James Version. It's based largely on tradition rather than on truth finding. There's little to no archaeology to support any of it. It's contradictory. It's full of bad ideas and questionable ethics and or morals. Jesus doesn't even care about washing hands. I mean, what can you say about it? It's written a long time ago. It's a second-hand, third-hand account that anonymous authors wrote that we're not sure about, making claims about things that we know couldn't be true, aren't true, and have never observed to be true. Category of mythology properly placed upon it because of the insane claims that it makes. It makes wild claims about science that are wrong, about reality that are completely wrong. It ignores all sorts of things. It's just full of problems. So, yeah, there you go. I took a big old dump on the stupid Bible. There you go. You come and get me, Matt. All right, anyways, but as far as that, it's interesting that he's not interested in converting him. But I thought it wasn't really humans that converted anyone, anyways. I thought it was like the Holy Spirit that did it. I mean, I guess it depends on your theology, really. Some people think, it's God that converts you. It's you. You have the choice, though. Like, so you go and you look for God with an open heart and mind, and then you'll find their God. Not some other God, because the other gods are fake, of course, but their God's the real God, trademark reserved, trademark copyright, you're circa zero, be, 8, whatever, I don't know. But that you'll find it if you're looking hard enough in the right places and sincerely enough, and then you'll come to God, and then you'll realize that their God's the real God somehow, right? So that's one way that you supposedly would come to God or be converted, right? It's like you have to have the right heart for it. But then, like, well, if you're a Calvinist, then you think, well, no, God's already selected certain people to be, like, they're the ones that are going to be with God. So if you're not one of those people, then, even if you're actually worshiping God and stuff, like, well, I guess in that case you were meant to be that, but like eventually you won't be because God didn't actually pick you to be that. So like, I guess you'll become an atheist, or maybe you'll just deconvert to some other religion. Like, so then you're screwed anyways, because if Christianity is true, you're screwed, right? So so anyways, I don't know how you're converted. I guess it just depends who you ask. But I didn't know that people could convert people. Anyways, it's interesting that he then says, it's clear you'll never listen. Well, how do you know that? Like, how do you know that he wouldn't listen to you? Like, have you talked to him, like, directly? I mean, this is just, an offhand comment, but have you tried talking to him? He said, hey, compelled unbeliever, can we have a discussion? Can we talk about things? Like, I want you to listen to what I have to say. All right, I'll listen to it. All right, it's just interesting. How do you know his mind? How do you know his intentionality? You don't. Now, you're suggesting that this video is golden, that he's going to do something to it. Yeah, well, I look forward to that so I can make fun of that too. Here's the thing. In this video, all compelled unbeliever is really saying is, in response to Turok here, it's so funny that he asked to put the doctor. Come on, you haven't used your PhD in years. Come on, man. Anyways, her Turok here, asking this question. It's a decent question to ask. I've answered the question, and I wonder just how much you'll listen to what compelled unbeliever had to say, or if you're just interested in, creating some sort of straw man or making fun of it or whatever, I'll be interested in seeing what Matt Powell does with that. So, will Matt Powell notice me, senpai, and pick on me? And I mean, I've got plenty of videos that he could grab. I mean, even this one he could probably grab, because, I'm not really making any necessary points here other than, hey, notice me, Matt Powell, pool, pew, 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 MP, yay. The MP that I like is Modus Ponus. I wonder if he has one for his ideas of God. Yeah. So the question of, if it was true, is Christianity true? Or, well, of course, the title of the video is a little misleading there, compelled unbeliever, because it should be Frank Turek, if Christianity is true, would you join it? But I guess that's pretty long of a title. So you're still wrong with the title, but, I understand. It's okay. I forgive you, but I'm still going to complain about it. I'm not going to not complain about it. Okay, I don't need that on the screen anymore, I guess. All right, let's take that off the screen. Okay, so the question of, if Christianity is true, would you join it? Well, I like to counter this with the question of, if it happened to be true that the real actual God was Hitler, would you join the religion of Hitler? Now, you might say, oh, that's not a fair question or something like that, but let's unpack it. Let's look at it. Let's examine it, okay? And take this thought experiment seriously, but thought is something that Matt Powell might not want to do. Haha, see what I did there, Matt Powell? I accused you of something. Don't you like it when people do that? Maybe you shouldn't do that to other people. Just saying, I don't know. Anyways, but, okay, so if it turned out that Hitler was an avatar of God, like Jesus. Jesus was like an avatar of God, right? Like Jesus is God, or I mean, again, it depends on your theology of how you want to view that. But anyways, if it turned out Hitler was God, and he killed himself, or at least that's what it looked like to other people. But actually, he was just sending himself to heaven. He'd done what he came to do, and and we had all the evidence you ever would want that that's the case. This is the truth. And if you don't worship Hitler, and if you don't join his little club, that you will be doomed for all of forever. Well, let's make it a little worse than that, because I always like to make my thought experiments a little bit harder. Let's just say that not only would you be doomed forever, but everyone that you like and it would also be doomed. So you're not joining the club and kowtowing to Hitler will doom several people, not just you. Make it worse than the hell portrayed by the Christians, which isn't really in the Bible. By the way, hell's kind of an invention of probably the early church or Catholic church, but it doesn't matter. You're gonna pretend that hell's in there, whatever. It's fine. So okay. Would you join the Hitler Club? Many people, I suspect, would say yes, because they don't want all of their, friends, loved ones, people they like to share in the torture of hell. Because I added too much to it. If it was just them, they might say, yeah, well, I don't want to be tortured forever, but I also don't want to worship Hitler. So I guess I would, I don't know. Maybe I would. Worship him just so that I avoided hell. But I'd feel terrible. So really worshiping him would be like being in hell anyway. So what's the difference? I might as well be in hell and have the knowledge that I stood up to that tyrant. But by adding more to the mix, that might, the cost might be too great. And there's a saying that every man has his price, so there's some hypothetical price that's too big to pay. What if it was all of humanity for all time, past and future and present, and that would be doomed if you didn't do X? Would you then do X? And I think that under those conditions, I dare say almost anyone would do X to avoid the negative outcome. Now, I recognize it for what it is, an ad ballium, an appeal to the stick, a threat. You are threatening me and others, not giving us a valid argument. You're not saying, here's this logically coherent argument, or here's this data, here's this test, here's this evidence. Rather, you're saying, do this or else this horrible bad thing will happen. That's it's not an argument, it's a threat. And because of that, because it's a threat, because it's an ad ballium, all I know about the person or group uttering this is they are not using logic in this moment. And perhaps they are not a logical creature or group. But if I kowtow to that, who knows what else I might have to kowtow to. And I have no guarantee that kowtowing to them will result in the outcome that they are essentially saying won't happen if I comply because they're already being illogical. So I have no guarantee that they'll continue to be that they'll suddenly become logical, or that they won't continue to be illogical. So if I say, okay, well, I'll do the thing, I'll worship Hitler because he happened to be the real God, in hopes that I will not be punished, and my friends and families and loved ones and people I like will not be punished. But Hitler might say, you know what? Even though you're worshiping me, I'm still going to punish the rest of them. And just for fun, I'll punish you too, because why not? And so because of that, I personally would say, no, I'm not going to do the thing that you're demanding I do. Now, ideally, that's what I would want to do. Whether or not I'd actually do it, I don't know. I might in that moment go, yeah, well, do I really want the blood of everybody on my hands? Aliens have come and said, threatened all of humanity with death unless I, do something terrible and awful or whatever. It's like, well, am I going to stick to my ethics and morals at that point, or am I going to kowtow in that moment of panic? I don't honestly know. I hope that I wouldn't. And you might say, oh, that's terrible. You're willing to doom us all for your ethics? Well, if ethics mean anything, then yeah, I'd have to be. Because they're not using logic. They're using illogic to compel me to make a choice. And so I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna cooperate. So if Hitler was God, would you worship it? Now, if the theist wants to not answer that question because they don't want to play the thought experiment, then I don't have any reason to answer their question. That's how I view it. Hey, compelled unbeliever, there he is. I was making fun of you earlier. You missed it. Oh well. Then I have to go back and see if I did. I didn't, but well, I did a little bit. This is your fault, by the way. This whole thing is your fault. So, if when I cough, which now because I'm talking is my vocal cords have decided now is the perfect time to cough live because I can't edit it. See, your fault. Okay, so if Hitler was God, would you worship it? I dare say most people would say no. Okay, if Hitler was God and the consequence of not worshiping it is eternal suffering forever and ever for just you, maybe you would say no to that. Maybe you'd say yes. I don't know. But then, if I kept adding on the things, it's, if the consequence of not worshiping it is, all of humanity is doomed, would you do it then? And maybe also I'll add a bribe to it so that there's not only an appeal to a threat, there's not only an ad valium, but there's also an appeal to a bribe, which is a different logical fallacy, where you offer something wonderful to the person. You're not really making a valid argument. You're not making a logical argument. You're not saying, well, here's all the data, here's all the evidence, here's all the facts, and because of that, this should convince you. But instead you're saying, if you say that this is true, or if you accept that this is true, or if you go along with this, then you will get $1 million. I can't wait to see the video challenge to Matt, Compelled Unbeliever. That's going to be amazing. I look forward to it. This is trying to get, his attention based on your thing, kind of. So, we'll see. Maybe he'll pay attention to one of us. I mean, maybe we can group gangbang him. I don't know. He'd probably like that, though. He's probably gay, for all I know. It's fine if he's gay. Just because he wants to have sex with me and Compelled Unbeliever at the same time doesn't necessarily make him gay. That's the other thing. Just having sex with two guys on the internet doesn't make you gay, Matt Powell. Just because you want to do that. See, I claim to know what you want to do. Isn't that annoying, Matt Powell? Yeah, maybe you shouldn't do that to other people. Anyways. oh, God. Cybernetic. Oh, okay. I'll check it out later. Unless you want me to check it out now and review it live, I could do that. Laws. He is pretty bi-curious. Yeah, yeah. All right. See, compelled unbelievers on board. We're willing to do it, Matt Powell, just to prove that we're not gay. We're not afraid of being gay. And the only way to prove that is to have sex with Matt Powell. I don't know. This is a weird argument now. I don't know where I'm going with this. I blame everyone that's not me. Okay, anyway, so man, if none of this gets his attention, I don't know what will. So back to the thought experiment. If Hitler was God, would you worship it? If Hitler was God and then there was a terrible consequence for not worshiping it, and also a bribe, so this wonderful, terrific thing will happen for you and maybe for all of humanity. If you did this, would you do it? At some point, maybe you'd have your price. Maybe you'd say, yeah, that's worth it. If I do this one thing, then this wonderful, terrific thing will happen for everyone. You know, like all diseases would be cured instantly. All, food problems would be negated. Water problems negated. Clean water and all of pollution would be taken care of instantly, and the planet would be wonderful for both humans and animals alike, and also we could live for however long we wanted to. Our memories would be perfect. We wouldn't have any sort of mental issues. Yada, I could go on and heap on the promises of great reward, and all you have to do is worship Hitler. Would you do it? That's a thought experiment. So you're supposed to answer yes or no, and your answer has to be honest. Now, ideally, I would say no. I don't know that that's the case, because I've never been offered that, and I have no proof that Hitler's God. So it's hypothetical, of course. That's the point. But I'd say no, because worshiping Hitler is vile and disgusting, and it doesn't matter the consequence of not doing it or the reward of doing it. That's irrelevant. I object to it, so I'm not going to do it. And beyond that, the second point is because of those logical fallacies, perhaps I shouldn't go along with it anyways, because that means if Hitler is the one that set up the system and it's saying, here's this wonderful reward if you only worship me, and here's this terrible punishment if you don't, then Hitler's an illogical being, and I have no reason to trust that it's going to keep its word. Therefore, worshiping it is not guaranteed to get the result that I desire. So I'm not going to do it because I don't want to do it, don't feel like doing it, and I view it as terrible and awful. And I would also, additionally, on top of that, if it turned out Hitler's God, I'm going to try to fight God. Now, that's a losing battle, perhaps, but I'm still going to do it because it seems like the right thing to do. I mean, I'm already screwed, so I might as well try to take it down, and maybe I could replace that God with a different God. Who knows? Maybe I could kill God. I don't know. Put a different God in his place. But I think that the apologist would never answer the thought experiment, or I'd be very surprised to see if they did, because it exposes their question for what it is. And that is essentially, well, but if it was true, would you join our group? That's really what it's asking. If this is true, would you join our little group? Well, it depends what your group's about. And you might say, well, the way you view it is wrong. That's not really what our group's about. Nazis aren't really about killing Jews and gypsies and old people and sick people. No. You don't understand. It's actually about, it's like, yeah, I don't know about that. It's like a Nazi apologist, just to make the metaphor all the way through, And do they have evidence, by the way, that Hitler is God? No, they don't. They can point to some book that says that, and it could be written by millions of different authors throughout time. Maybe it makes accurate predictions. Maybe it says scientific knowledge in it. It doesn't mean that it's true. I have to, and if you actually hear Hitler appears before all of humanity, okay, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's pretty compelling. Hitler might be God at that point. Okay. Am I going to join that? No. Are you? Would any theist answer the question, if Hitler's God, would you worship it? Yes or no? And then add to that, if Hitler's God and offered a punishment, if you didn't worship it, would you worship it? If Hitler's God and offered a punishment and reward, would you do it then? And just continue with that thought. Will they? I don't think that my experience has been that apologists tend to not want to answer thought experiments. They'll say, "Oh, that's just no." I asked. Well, okay, it was one experience, I suppose. So I guess it's really bad to base my arguments on one experience, isn't it? But I recall this thing where I asked the question of, you have to choose between either a God exists, but there's no afterlife, or there's an afterlife, but no God. Which one do you choose to be the case, and why? And they absolutely refused. Two different people absolutely refused. Oh, we're not going to do that because that's not the way it really is. I'm like, so you're not going to do the thought experiment? No, we're not. It's like, okay, well, why should I do any of your thought experiments? It's just so dishonest, intellectually speaking. I'm at least willing to give your thought experiment a go through and work it out and say, well, ideally, if the Christian God happens to be true, and I had adequate proof of that, I don't think I'd join because of the logic attached to it. Now, it might turn out to be that the actual Christian God is nothing like the Christian God that we're told about in the Bible or by believers, and then that would change my answer. But as it stands, the answer is no. But I'd say it was true. If it happened to be true, I would promote it as true. I wouldn't take part in it, but I would defend it because my duty's to the truth. So, that's my answer, is no. No, I would not join your club. No, I would not join your side. And what the apologist does with that, or tends to do, is say, aha, I've got you. Because you see, dear unbeliever, you heathen, you scum, you apostate, that if God wasn't so damn hidden and gave you this evidence, you're still not going to do what God wants. So, and God knows that, and you've admitted that. So God's not going to give you that evidence, because what's the point? From God's perspective, either way, you're still going to say no to it. Oh, okay, so God's an asshole. Got it. I understand. So if God was revealed in such a way that I didn't have to be skeptical of it, and it happens to be that God's an asshole, no, I'm not going to worship an asshole. Besides, I don't even think anything worth worshiping would want to be worshipped or even ask for it in the first place. What does God need with a starship? What does God need with a worship? It's God, it doesn't need any of that. Oh, it's for humans. Come on. So the idea is that God might as well remain hidden if you say no, that if you had proof that you wouldn't worship it. Because what's the difference? You're not going to be a Christian even if it turns out to be true. So what's the point? I don't need to argue with you. I don't need to prove that Christianity is true to you, because you're still not going to join it. You're still not going to be part of my club, even if I did do that. So I'm not going to prove it. I don't need to prove it because you don't care. You see, you don't listen. You don't want to be part of my club. So I'm not going to prove to you that I'm right. And God's not going to prove to you that you're wrong. because you don't want to be part of it anyway. So what's the point? You're a waste of space and time. And well, why did God make me then? No, shut up. God made you to prove a point. What? Like, what is the point of unbelievers in God's realm, right? Like, why was I made? So you could have a choice. Okay, well, what's my choice? Well, it's hell or heaven. Well, that's not really a choice. I mean, really not. it's not. It's not a free choice. It's a threat and a reward. A choice would be like, door 1 is this lovely house. Door 2 is also a lovely house, but one's green and the other's purple. Which one do you want? I like green, so I'm going with the green. If somebody else likes purple, then go with that one, whatever. That's a choice. But that's not what you get with this version of Christianity. Of course, then you have questions like this, or that if is it possible to worship without really feeling anything, just go through the motions, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. I guess not. I mean, you could pretend to worship Hitler if he turned out to be God, and Hitler knows that you're not really worshiping it because it's God and it knows what you're thinking. So you're like, look, I'm trying my best. Give me some time here, And maybe eventually you'd brainwash yourself into feeling it after you fake, that is a statement I've heard in church. Fake it till you make it. I've heard that. And I had a guy tell me that for speaking in tongues, you have to at first fake it. You have to just be pretending to speak in tongues, and then eventually becomes real. Isn't that interesting? You have to lie until it starts being real. In other words, you have to lie to your own self until you stop remembering that it's a lie. I don't want to do that. I'd rather tell myself the truth, or what I know is true, or at least what I think is true, and also not just tell myself that, but check with other people to see if it's true. Is this a good idea? Is this real? Now here's Johnny. I love Johnny. Johnny's a good guy. If Johnny Drive-By was God, would I worship him? He's a pretty decent guy. I think I would. But also, I don't think he'd want worship. People like, I don't want worship. It's just, do you, man. We can still be friends. Like, you don't have to work. I don't want, Like, if he would be a cooler God, I dare say, than Yahweh. So it just depends on the God. If you present an asshole God, then no, I'm not going to want to worship it. If you present a nice God, then yeah, I'm probably going to want to worship it. But if your God demands me to worship it, or else, and also to worship me, and you get this wonderful thing, then no, because your God is illogical in nature, and because it's illogical in nature, I'm skeptical of it. I'm skeptical that it exists. I'm skeptical that it's going to follow through with anything that it says. And so my answer has to be no. So that's the answer to Frank's question. I wonder if he'd answer my thought experiment. I wonder if Matt Powell would answer my thought experiment. I'm going to bet that neither one would. That's just my bet. That's my wager. Yes, I agree. If Johnny were God, there'd be much better music in church. It's been a while since I've been to church, but yeah, the music, yeah. Yeah. Anyways, so those are my thoughts on this. Matt Powell, your logic stuns me every moment that I see it. I look forward to you not paying any attention to me, because you probably won't. But if you did, that'd be great. Yeah, both me and we both doubt that either of you would answer my thought experiment. If Hitler was God, would you worship it? So there you go. That's our question. And here's the thing. Okay, so I'm pretty sure a compelled unbeliever will go with me on this. So if they answer it, we will have sex with them. Like, if they wanted to, we'll put our bodies up for that. If they don't answer it, then we won't offer ourselves up to have sex with them. And like, I'm not gonna say we're gonna have sex with each other. Like, I don't know, maybe we will. You know what? I just realized that nowhere I go with this weird challenge is gonna wind up good for me. So I'm gonna pretend that I didn't make it, and whatever. It's good talk. Goodbye, everybody. I'm ending now before I keep talking about sex with them. Maybe I'll convince myself. I don't know. Quick, hit the button. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with gay sex. Oh my word! What has happened? Lobster, save me! Hit the button. What? Oh, hit the button, right? Oh, why am I deconverted man official? Because Matt Powell official is making fun of Matt Powell. MP Matt, you suck. Your poopy head. Debate me, or I will be dead. No, that doesn't make sense. I will be bread. I will become bread. Yeah. Why don't they sell toast? Like loaves of toast. Good night, everybody. Oh, by the way, subscribe to Compelled Unbeliever for more gay sex. Wait, no.